Hello, Lounge family. Good day. It's so good to have you right back on our weekly calls. I hope that your first week of January was everything and more that you had hoped it to be. As always, I hope that it was blessed and productive and incredibly fulfilling. Hey, look, I'm excited today for the topic. I want to talk about persuasion today. Persuasion. Of course, the good kind of persuasion. Persuading somebody to believe in the message that you are trying to deliver, convincing someone that the pursuit of said message will be incredibly impactful for their lives. I use elements of this naturally in preaching. I use it in sales. You can use it as just simply being an example to your kids, etc. So not all persuasion is bad, of course, because there are moments you are trying to convince someone of something because you believe in it so much. It is a conviction of yours, and you know what it has done for your life and many others. And so I think this is an incredible intro to our call next week on sales. I have an incredible leader and coach coming through. His name is Jason Westbrook. We've done some partnerships in business before, and I know he's going to absolutely bless you next week with an incredible sales teaching. I've heard him teach on this before, and it opened up my mind in a whole new way on how to, it's not necessarily about selling, it's about solving problems. And you're going to hear that point next week. I'm going to go ahead on this recording now and let Matt in the room. I see him. He popped up. Just one moment. I'm going to go ahead. Let's see here. Hello, Matt.
What's up? There he is.
Hey, man, I've started this recording. I'm gonna go ahead and keep going with it.
All right, brother.
All right, my man. All right, everyone. Well, so again, today I'm talking about persuasion. And next week we are talking about sales. And I am just incredibly excited for that. But I want to give you a quote today, which is kind of the big thought of the day. And if you're taking notes, I want you to write this down. If you're not taking notes now, if you're not in a setting to do so, just watch the playback sometime or just remember it in your heart. But I believe a short pencil is better than a long memory, and it's good to take notes. Okay, here's the big thought of the day. The most impactful persuasion is done in times of uncertainty. The most impactful persuasion is done in times of uncertainty. In other words, exactly how I said it, in moments of uncertainty, in seasons of uncertainty, is when a lot of persuasion occurs because people are looking for something beyond themselves. They're looking for something to believe in. They're looking for something to be convinced of. Their mind is a little bit more open. Their heart is open as well. And when I look around in our society right now, there's so much uncertainty. And that's why we as business people, we as leaders must come in with the message that we truly believe in. And so through your company or organization or whatever it might be right now, there must be an underlying message on, the why you do what you do. If it's simply to provide people jobs and to, be someone who is generous, with money, that's your why. You're serving others with that. Remember that vision will always impact and involve others. It's not just on you and what you can do for yourself and your own dreams. It's about serving others. That's leadership. And that's the kind of leadership that we are talking about all through, Valor Coaching Agency. It's about servant leadership. Okay, so the most impactful persuasion is done in times of uncertainty. If anybody's looking to open up their mind. It's now. Okay. So the question is, what are you trying to persuade them to believe? What are you trying to convince them of? Okay. Remember, not all persuasion is bad. We do it every day. I use it in preaching. I'm trying so hard. It's my position to convince you that, Jesus is the way. And I believe in that message with all of my heart because I've lived the opposite before. And I know what a life with Jesus is like. When I'm trying to sell on a call, again, my brother Jason Westbrook next week is talking about how we don't necessarily sell, we try to solve. I'm consistently trying to solve their problem. So when I get off of what we would call a sales call, I'm trying to persuade them, that this program or this, a company can truly benefit their leadership. And so, okay, so I'm going to give you 10 ways to persuade. 10 ways to persuade. Again, this can translate to many different arenas of your life. Of course, I'm talking about through the lounge, on a business level. But this, like I said, does translate through and through. So 10 different ways to persuade. These are some fresh thoughts that I've had that I've seen be effective just after my short 12 and a half year career. Okay, so 10 ways to persuade. Number one, first and foremost, you got to believe in the message yourself. You got to believe it yourself. People aren't stupid. People are gonna see right through it if you don't even believe in the message yourself. Okay, I don't think I have to say much more on that. You got to believe it. You can see. You either ooze belief or you don't, or there's some other agenda that they will sniff right out. You got to believe in the message yourself. So, for example, I know, Audrey is a part of, this program, and she's in an MLM company, and they sell skincare and some other products. And I can tell by her Instagram, by the usage of the product, by her impact, that she believes in it. She believes in it. And she also believes in what the company, if you join the company, what the company can do for families and for, her niche. She has a really good, effectiveness in kind of the mother niche. And so she paints that picture very clearly. If you get on a profile for more than 2.8 seconds, you understand that about her. It's a lifestyle, thing. And so, anyways, you can just tell she believes in the message herself. So that's number one, believe in the message yourself. Number two, meet audience where they are. Meet them where they are. Again, I'm going to use Audrey as an example. She just on the motherhood thought, she posts pictures of her family. She speaks through that lens. She's speaking to the needs of mothers to have, financial freedom and some time freedom, and, the vacation perks and the, just she speaks to their needs. And so however that translates in your industry, be sure that you are speaking to that need. If you're trying to pitch a job to someone, speak to their need, get enough intel, get enough information, assimilate, get enough info on their life to speak directly how this message, whatever the message is, what you're trying to convince them of, this product, this pursuit, this endeavor, this position, speak exactly how that can impact their life. Speak to their needs. Maybe you're trying to convince them that this job will give them financial freedom and all this stuff. But you don't realize they just inherited, from their late father, their dream home and all this money in the will. So they don't need financial freedom. So you're exhausting yourself. That's kind of a very, really simple example, but it can go many ways. They're not looking for money. They're looking for impact. So how can this pursuit help them impact others, or whatever it might be. My point is just know them well enough to speak exactly to the need. Ask them, maybe you are trying to pitch them a position, a job, and you say, what are you looking for with this position? And get that information and then speak right back to them, with that. And if you don't already know the person and what they're looking for. But whether it's a message, a product, a position, whatever it might be, you're trying to persuade them to pursue or to live by, speak exactly how this need or this pursuit can meet a need in their life. Okay. Again, we're going to talk about it next week, but we're not trying to sell, we're trying to solve. So how can this pursuit solve a problem in their life? Okay. All sales and persuasion, it's emotional. We're talking about it next week. Okay, I'm gonna save that for Jason, the guru of sales. Okay, so meet the audience where they are. Speak to their needs. That's number 2. Number 3, share a story or a testimony of the message that you are sharing. So now share a story. Jim, when he was in this position, man, they gave, his family this and that. And, now he's retired and he's traveling the world with his family because of the benefits of this I don't know, whatever it might be. And then, or if it's a product, having pictures before and afters. And, Miss Kara didn't have any self-confidence. She would always, overuse makeup, and she would look for any reason to skip the kids' school programs. But she knew as a mother, she never could. She felt guilty. So she always went, and she always felt insecure. Just 6 weeks on this product, she got her confidence back. And, so just use a story. And that's why you need to keep gathering client reviews, client stories, because you can find a story that will speak directly to the person you're trying to persuade. Okay. So share a story or testimony of the message that you are sharing. Of course, if you're in the church world, you can share your own testimony or someone else's that maybe they can relate to. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, inform them of their gain. Okay, you could probably do that right after you share a testimony. If you pursue this, whatever X, if you pursue X, whatever X is, then this is what you can get. This is what happens. This is the result. This is the fruit. This is the fulfillment of you pursuing X. Okay, so inform them of their gain, what they can get if they pursue this. This is what could happen for you and your family and your loved ones, etc. That's number 4. Number 5, inform them of their loss. You can paint the picture, of course, with sensitivity and empathy. If I don't do this, this is what happens. I know right now, if I don't, if I don't have a workout rhythm, of course, there's a gain side to working out consistently. I'm going to be healthy, probably live longer. I'll be more fulfilled, be more present, and loved ones, families, be more impactful. But I always look at it on the opposite side of that too. If I don't have a workout rhythm, this is what happens. I won't be present. I probably won't be fulfilled. I'll probably, odds are I'm going to die a few years earlier, etc. I mean, just like it's a silly example, but you get the point. If I don't do this, this is what happens. Now, if you are in skincare, I wouldn't necessarily be like, if you don't, wash your face every day with this product specifically, you're going to live insecurely and have acne your whole life. I mean, you don't necessarily, that kind of goes without being said. That's a little bit insensitive. I think just using a little bit of, like I said, sensitivity and discernment on exactly what you say, but I think it is important to bring some reality to the situation. Now, if you're trying to pitch a position, of course, there are other positions out there that would benefit them as well. So you don't necessarily want to act like you're the only position, you're the only way to victory. but that's why this is a good point. That's why your company needs to have a differentiator, something that sets you apart. Okay. You can always say, well, all these other companies you're talking to offered a hybrid model. Do they offer 3 weeks vacation off the bat? Do they offer gym membership being funded? Do they offer a trip to Disneyland every year? Just whatever it is, just some creative ideas. There's a book that I really enjoyed. It got me out of the box. It's somewhere on this shelf. It's by the authors of, not the authors, it's by the founders of Basecamp. It's a product I used to use. I believe it's called It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work. And it's a neat read. It opened up my mind when I read it, whatever time ago, on just how you can be set apart as a company. There's a reason why they are prospering as they are now. So it doesn't have to be crazy at work. The chapters are like 2 pages long. Really easy read every day. But again, it just opens up your mind as a CEO, as a leader, on certain perks and just outside of the box ideas. Okay. And especially this was before 2020, when work from home became all the more popularized. So I encourage you maybe to get that book. It doesn't have to be crazy at work. It's really neat. Okay. Inform them of their gain, inform them of their loss. Number 6, I've got to wrap this up. Number 6, be the example of the message lived out. Be the example. Be the ultimate example. So, of course, number 1 was believe in the message yourself. But, of course, if you believe in it as a byproduct, you're going to live it out. But I just needed to add this point in there. Be the example of the message lived out. Excuse me. When they look at you, may your own life be that inspirational and be that attractive that people just say, man, I just kind of want my own version of what they have, or how they live fulfilled, or man, if they're happy, they've been in this game for a minute, etc. So be the example of the message lived out. So again, this can go all the way from leading your company from a certain position. This could go, of course, pitching the message of the gospel. However this translates, this just goes all around. If you're teaching your kids character, of course, be the example of ultimate character. Don't say, do as I say, not as I do. You need to be the example yourself, or your kids at a young age will learn that hypocrisy is okay, because you have a natural level of influence in their lives now. And they'll write in their mind that it's okay to live hypocritical, and you don't want to paint that picture. Okay. Number seven. I love that, Matt. Be a product of the product. That's exactly right, brother. Exactly right. Be a product of the product. Matter of fact, add that as a sub point to the point. Be the example. Put in parentheses right next to it. Be a product of the product. That's really good. Number 7, debunk their arguments with sensitivity. Debunk their arguments with sensitivity. Let them know you've already thought out, their ways or their arguments to it. Bringing education to the table really helps. And this, again, translates different ways. Of course, if I was on my, pastoral coaching call that I've had, of course, I would be very niche right now, get into the nitty gritty of how to debunk arguments with Christianity, etc., other religions. But of course, there's such a wide variety of people that are watching this playback, and even Matt being live on this call. And so I'm not being apathetic in the way that I'm teaching. And I hope I'm not coming across that way. I'm just trusting that, I believe as a leader, we do well with picking up something another, like an instructor serves, and applying it to your situation. And so if I had time, do my best to break down every person's context, but I'm just hoping that you would take these points and say, okay, how does this apply to my industry? Some of you have multiple industries that it applies differently to. I know, Matt, you got a few things that are popping up, and so these points will mean something different in every seat. Okay, so number 7, debunk their arguments with sensitivity. So their responses to your message that you're trying to sell, or the position, or whatever. Now, let me also make a point. I was painting a picture earlier of somebody interviewing for a position and trying to pitch it to them. You also, my advice is, man, I hope this goes across the board, but you don't want to beg anybody to join a team or to be on a seat. And I wouldn't say you want to beg anybody to stay. My thought is, if they're able to walk, let them walk. And you're going to have other options. That's why you got to trust. That's why you have to have confidence, and trust that they're not the only candidate for this. I'm not going to beg anybody. If you don't want to be here, I don't want you here, because that will bleed out to other team members. I want a team. I don't need individual players. Teams win championships. Even Michael needed Scotty and crazy old Dennis. They all played their part. Of course, it was for the most part Michael. We know that, but every Kobe needs a Shaq, right? Or whatever. Kobe, one of the GOATs as well. But my point is, individuals don't win championships unless you're in a 1A or 6-man football. Teams win championships. And so I want a powerful team. Okay. Anyway, so debunk their arguments with sensitivity. However that translates to your industry, let it be so. Okay. Next point. Number 8, display confidence when you are delivering the message. Again, whatever that message is, if it's a message to, a principle to convince your team of in a meeting, if it's the gospel message, if it's a sales pitch, whatever it might be, a pitch for a position, whatever it might be. Now, let's rewind 2 minutes. When I said don't beg anybody to be on your team, that doesn't mean you shouldn't pitch a powerful case on why they should join this seat. There might be some candidates that you go after. You need to make it very clear to them why they should join, and then their response will be a tell-all, but they need some interest as well in joining. If you join this team, this is what happens. If you sit in this seat, this is what happens for you in this organization. Hope that makes sense. Okay, but let's get back to the point. Number 8, display confidence. Man, we talked about confidence, the other day, and I hope that encouraged you, gave you multiple ways to have confidence. Okay, and on how to lose it. And I hope that this week wasn't full of the latter. Okay, that's number 8. Number 9, say it consistently. Man, that really paints a picture that you believe in it, that it's a conviction of yours. And, the message that you are trying to deliver, I've used this illustration before, but it's like a cup with a hole at the bottom, and you got to constantly say it. Sometimes you got to say it, 16 times it's not an actual number, it's just arbitrary, but sometimes you got to say it many times for people to even hear you saying it. And then when they hear you say it, they're going to realize that, oh, that lines up with his beliefs. Oh, that lines up with this lifestyle. Oh my goodness, they live by this. This is who they are. Oh my goodness, that has impacted their life. Oh, they seem really fulfilled. Matt, great point. He put in the chat, consistency builds trust. You're exactly right. Consistency builds trust. We talked about trust with your team a few weeks ago. Matt, I need to get you that link as well. That's a great point. So display confidence. Say it consistently. Okay, constantly. That's just who you are. You just bleed this message. Okay. Number 10, last but not least, be committed to the message in every season. Okay. Again, whatever, it might not be a message to you. Um, it's really a conviction. So however that comes out. So be committed to it in every season. Okay. What I mean is when you, sometimes the most powerful testimonies are when you go through something, even a season like we're kind of still into a version or some way or another right now in society, with just the uncertainty with COVID, et cetera. When you still hold on to that conviction, that message, what you are persuaded by, it paints an incredible picture to the people you're trying to deliver it to, because they say, oh man, this has all the more credibility in my life now. This has become real because I've seen them live it out and I've seen the impact of them live it out. So you want to be committed to the message in every season. Sometimes, man, you got to say it in faith, but you just got to live by it in every season and consistently say it with confidence, etc. Hope that makes sense. Again, the big thought of the day is the most impactful persuasion is done in times of uncertainty, whether you're trying to pitch a message, a principle that would change their life, change their leadership. You're trying to pitch a position to somebody. You're trying to sell them a product, get them involved on your team, whatever it might be. The most impactful persuasion is done in times of uncertainty. And again, we are in times of uncertainty, generally speaking. I'm not tripping, but many are. And they need a leader to step up and step in. And again, this company is entitled Valor Coaching Agency, and valor means to have bravery and courage, especially in battle. And battle can be a little bit uncertain. So we need brave and courageous leaders to step up and get back in their seat and help our world. Okay. Hope this encouraged you today. Thank you so much for being a part of the Leadership Lounge, and I hope to talk to you soon.